Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis. Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae Girlz out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae Girlz, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there. World Cup. Sedella Marley, number love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I represent for the Reggae Girlz. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sedella, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae Girlz do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica supporting it every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Shout Out the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning, all depends on where you're based in the world. I'm back with another live stream, guys. How many live streams is that on the trot? Let me know how I'm sounding to you guys there in the comment section. If you are being a shy listener, please don't do that. Do get friendly with the comment section. Lee, if you're tuning in and you haven't managed to reach the comment section yet, let me go ahead and apologize to yourself. Tonight's live stream was actually supposed to be on your topic, Cuba. You requested me to talk about Cuba as they will be our first opponents for the CONCACAF Men's Nations League, which will then be subsequently followed by Honduras. But I've had to sidestep a little bit because I received a comment in my DM pertaining to my headline, Mr. Eddie Nketiah, the former Arsenal man. And actually, more than one of my subscribers wanted me to talk about Eddie Nketiah. I thought it was a joke at first. I was like, surely not. I will be finding Mikel Arteta if Eddie Nketiah is eligible to represent my country, the Black, Gold, and Green of Jamaica. Eddie Nketiah, for those of you who aren't aware, if you're out of the loop, he is no longer playing for the better half of London. Let me go ahead and say that. He's no longer playing for Arsenal. He has been signed to Crystal Palace. So he's a South London boy now. Best of luck to Mr. Eddie Nketiah. So as I said, a few of my subscribers wanted me to talk about Eddie Nketiah. And instantly I thought, how greedy? Do you really need Eddie Nketiah? First of all, is he eligible to represent Jamaica? I'm going to be doing a breakdown of Eddie Nketiah. Get friendly with the comment section there, guys. I don't like to sit here and talk to myself. It's a little bit distressing at times. So as I said, we're going to do a little breakdown of Eddie Nketiah. Of course, we have to talk about England. We have to talk about Ghana. And then I'm going to close things off and looking at Jamaica with the question mark temporarily. So as I was saying, is it greedy of some of you to want Eddie Nketiah to play for Jamaica, given our options up top at present? personally, I kind of feel like we don't need Eddie Nketiah. That's if he is eligible to represent the black, green, and gold. And I'm going to give you the answer to your question before I close off on the show. I will say this though. Actually, let me ask you guys. And if you don't answer before I close off on the show, I'll answer it myself. I want you guys to tell me, since you know so much about football, what does Eddie Nketiah, Ivan Toney, and Mr. Shaman Nicholson, Boza himself have in common? I've kind of picked up on something pertaining to a trait that those three gentlemen have. Maybe it's just me, but you guys let me know, what does Ivan Toney, Mr. Shaman Nicholson, and Eddie Nketiah have in common? They have something in common. It might just be me, but I do believe they have something in common. David, Mr. Walker, good day to you, sir. Mr. Walker says, I think it's a bit much and it is surprising. Mr. Walker, I do agree with you. How greedy of you, Reggae Boyz fans. But they do say the more the merrier. I am going to dive right into it there, guys. Do let me know if my background gets a little bit out of control, and I'll do my best to control things my end. I am going to say this though, guys, pertaining to England, because that's kind of like my working order. As I said, England, Ghana, and then Jamaica. Save the best for last. Let's look at England. I will say this, having watched the Euros that just closed off. The Euros is currently occupied by the new kings of Europe, Spain. I will say this with regards to England and their performances throughout the not just the World Cup, the 2022 World Cup, but most recently Euros. I think it is about that time where we're going to see the change of guard in relation to their captain, Harry Kane, Mr. Harry Kane there. And I think based off what we've seen with Harry Kane, it with regards to England, that is, nothing to do with him performing at club level, because he is smashing it out the park with Bayern Munich. I believe over the weekend he wrapped up a record, which basically meant that he has now scored against every single opponent in Bundesliga, which is quite sensational, given that this is only his second campaign with them. But as it relates to England, Eddie Nketiah, and also Harry Kane, I think the door, as things stand, is wide open for who's going to be the heir to Harry Kane. I think the most obvious selection, as things stand, pertaining to club performance and also what we saw, the glimpses of performances which we saw there in the Euros, the most obvious choice is Ollie Watkins. Let me know if you guys disagree there in the comment section. So for me, off the top of my head, you've probably got Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney, Marcus Rashford. You're not going to forget, or maybe some of you would have forgotten about the likes of Tammy Abraham. Saying that to say, I did make reference earlier on to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is the new home of Mr. Eddie Nketiah. And if you guys have been following the Euros, or if you are a fan of the Three Lions, then what I'm saying to you is a bit like yesterday's newspaper. It is old news. But if you aren't a fan of the Three Lions and you're not really been following them, you haven't been following them like that, then you might not know that Crystal Palace stood tall in regards to the Three Lions and their call up. They had 4 players representing them at the Euros for the Three Lions, and that is the most represented club in the England Euros selection. So a few of those players were Eze, Mark Gui, I hope I pronounced his name right, apologies if I didn't, Dean Henderson, and also what's his name, and then Wharton. Saying that to say, I do believe that Eddie Nketiah has, be it coincidentally or intentionally, found himself at the right club at the right time. I think this is the club for him where he could easily be inspired by his new teammates. Saying that to say, if I'm Eddie Nketiah and Crystal Palace is the club that managed to push 4 of their top talent into the England squad selection for the Euros, then that for me makes the perfect home for him, because as I said, he could use that as inspiration to spare himself on to potentially be selected to represent the Three Lions somewhere in the near future. Let me go ahead. Actually, my apologies. I should have actually brought up something there for you guys, because it will make sense. You know, I love to do my shared screen. For context, let's work with some context. So here you have Eddie and Nketiah. Not too long ago, tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Thursday will make it a year to the day, guys. Odd, isn't it? A year to the day where the BBC put out this article, Eddie and Nketiah, and it's about his first England call up. He did phrase the call up as being extra special, and why not? England is his birthplace. We saw what Eddie and Nketiah did at the lower level in terms of his participation there for England U21s, for example. He was the captain. He's already had a appetite, or I should say, he has an appetite of playing for the Three Lions, having played for the under 21s. As I said, he was the captain there, and he managed to break a particular record. I'm going to touch on that record as I go along in the show. But as it relates to England, combined with what I have already said, I'm going to leave this one in front of you, and you guys should already know that he does have choices to make in terms of who he probably wants to represent. I will say this, from what I can see, it's quite clear and obvious that while his, let's try and phrase it in the correct way, while his bloodline might have traces to Ghana and potentially Jamaica, it does appear that his heart belongs to England. We've seen over the years that Ghana have tried reportedly on several occasions to recruit Eddie and Nketiah, and to their disappointment, the chances have not come to fruition, unfortunately. The latest of the biggest disappointment for the Black Stars came for the 2022 World Cup, where he reportedly turned down the opportunity to don their national colors. And I think that kind of speaks volumes. If a player is going to turn down the opportunity to play at the World Cup, I think that is sport's biggest spectacle, then I don't think you need to go any further. If you are Ghana in that regard, easily, and this is no disrespect to the Black Stars, I think he could easily be one of their poster boys alongside West Ham's Mohamed Kudus. And also his former Arsenal teammate, Alex Iwobi, when he went on to play for Nigeria, we saw the reaction that Iwobi had. He instantly became the face of Nigeria's football. I'm sure at one point Alex would have chatted with Eddie and Nketiah and spoke to him about Africa and what it means to play for Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria and Ghana are two fierce rivals, but I'm sure we would have had a conversation with Eddie and Nketiah, maybe trying to lure him over to AFCON so that they can square off against each other. Saying that to say, I am pretty sure that Eddie and Nketiah is well aware of what awaits him if he does up to play for Ghana somewhere in the future. I don't think it will happen though, because as I said, he already has a appetite of playing for England. He's captained them at the U21s levels. And back in 2020, let me say this before I forget, Eddie and Nketiah surpassed none other than Alan Shearer's and Francis Jeffers' joint record of 13 goals being scored there for the men's U21 squad when he scored against Turkey, making it 14 goals in 12 appearances for that particular age group. So he's a bit of a young legend when it comes to the young Lions there, in particular the under 21 age group. I am pretty sure that he wants to transfer that over onto the men's senior team where England are concerned. Now, what else do I want to share with you guys? Again, in case I haven't mentioned it already, thank you to my subscriber there that wanted me to discuss the possibility of Jamaica attracting Eddie and Nketiah, or Eddie and Nketiah being eligible to represent Jamaica. Now, for some people, for the most part, looking on is probably extremely far-fetched. for some people. However, if you know Jamaica and if you know our history and you know about the historical ties between the two, it's perhaps not as far-fetched as one might want to believe. I think the only way we'll get to the bottom of this is if Eddie and Nketiah himself come out and say no to what I'm about to share to you, or if one of his representative or representatives come out and add to what I'm about to say to you guys. Now, all right, before I continue, should I keep up this screen? Do I want to share the screen? Do I want to change my screen? No, I'm going to change it as I go. Now, as it relates to Jamaica and the historical ties, this is why I'm saying that I don't somewhat believe that it's too far-fetched to be true in terms of whether he is eligible to play for Jamaica. And if you are from Jamaica like myself, then you will know that Jamaica and Ghanaians do get on extremely well. Me, as someone who's living in London, I've had like fantastic relationships with Ghanaians, and I think that comes back to the history between the both of us. I think in terms of Africa, Jamaicans and Ghanaians probably get along like a house on fire in comparison to other countries. I think next down that pecking order is probably Zambia. Sorry, not Zambia, Gambia. I think Jamaicans and Gambians get on quite well. So again, the historical ties between the possibility of Eddie and Nketiah being able to represent Jamaica for me isn't as far-fetched as some might want us to believe. And pressing on those historical ties, we only have to look quite close to home, guys, with a lot of these rumors. One of the most obvious one that's pretty much looking right at us in our face is our national dish. Our national dish being ackee and saltfish. Now, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I should say, in case you're unaware, ackee, the dish that you love so much, originates from West Africa. West Africa, if I'm going to be more precise and direct, Ghana to be specifically. It is reported there, guys, that the fruit itself was brought to Jamaica back in the mid 1700s. And if I'm going to be talking about Ghana and our national dish and how ackee, which originates from Ghana, came into Jamaica, then obviously I have to talk about slavery. And let me go ahead and bring up another screen there for you guys, because I don't want some of you to be thinking, okay, I'm just making stuff up. I wouldn't do that to you guys. Let's see if I can do a switch my shared screen and bring up something for you guys. This information here is from the Embassy of Jamaica, so the Jamaica Embassy, right? So the most important bit of information there backing up what I have just said to you guys is the relationship and the close ties and the historical connections between Jamaica and Ghana. So for those of you who are unaware, most Jamaican slaves came from the region of modern-day Ghana, Nigeria, and Central Africa. Adding to what I've said, and including the Akan, for example, and the Ashanti, Yoruba, and Igbo people. Now, the one that is a direct tie to Ghana is the Ashanti tribe, Ashanti community, and that pretty much ties in well into what some of you would already be well within the known for. Hold on there, guys. Let me go ahead and bring up my other tab. So as it relates to slavery and our national dish, I really can't talk about slavery, our national dish, without talking about one person that matters dearly to myself, and I'm sure to the rest of the Jamaicans there, whether you're born in Jamaica or claim your Jamaican identity through heritage. I think it's wrong to talk about the historical ties and the close relationship between Jamaica and Ghana without touching on the Queen of Jamaica. And if I say the Queen of Jamaica, then obviously you know that I'm talking about Nanny of the Maroon. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, again, that historical tie there between Ghana and Jamaica, her birthplace is Ghana. And let me just read something quickly there for you guys, because I'm worried that I might be taking up too much of your time. Nanny of the Maroon has a special place in Jamaica's history, and for that reason, Nanny has become a national hero. I don't think I've said this already, but she is currently our only female national hero. According to the Jamaican Information Service, Nanny of the Maroons was well known by the British settlers and Maroons as an outstanding military leader. Nanny of the Maroons managed to unite her people during the time of crisis. So there you go, guys. There is another historical connection there between Ghana and Jamaica as it relates to the question that I was asked by my subscribers. Pressing on, and let me go ahead and actually let me keep that on screen, or maybe I'll go back to the bit about Eddie Nketiah and his senior call up there with England before I or maybe I could switch to this one actually. Let me go ahead and show you guys where the whole rumor started. And this is how it all started there, guys. A post from Twitter, or as some of you might be calling it these days, X. I still refer to it as Twitter. So this is what pretty much kickstart the whole rumor pertaining to Eddie and Nketiah. I'll go ahead and read it there from for you guys. It says, Steve McLaren. While I will say this, I don't think there's any truth into what Steve McLaren allegedly wants. I don't actually think that he has done this, but the tweet or the post over on X does say Steve McLaren wants Eddie and Nketiah to swap international sides to play for Jamaica. However, Crystal Palace are convinced a run in their side will push Eddie and Nketiah's chances of making the England side this season. And you can't really knock the final part of that post there. The first part questionable, but the second part ties into what I've already said to you guys in relation to Crystal Palace and their army of players who have managed to deservingly put a foot in the England senior men's side. And I think Eddie and Nketiah, if he does go on to having a commanding season with Crystal Palace, he might just find himself getting another England call up, and maybe it could lead to him being tied to then being able to switch countries for the time being. Now, in terms of wild thoughts, I think in modern football, there's no such thing as wild thoughts. So to summarize it all, in terms of what I've already said, some of you are probably thinking it's still wild. He does not have any opportunity or any ties that links him to Jamaica. I think the days of having wild thoughts, guys, is well and truly over. I'll say this. A little over 10 years ago, I think Spain won the World Cup back in 2010, right, guys? Correct me in the comment section. I believe they won the World Cup back in 2010. If anyone had said back then when they lifted the World Cup that a little over a decade's time, the makeup of their team would be diverse to the extent that their two poster boys that represent Spain would accumulate to Spain having their most diverse squad ever. I think if anyone had told you back then that there'll be two black players playing for Spain and they'll be the star of the show, people probably look at you and think you need to be taken to the hospital. I'm saying that to say these wild thoughts in football about players potentially being eligible to play for a country that is probably a surprise to some shouldn't really come as a surprise, if that makes sense. I mean, if you're looking at Spain in terms of birthplace, yes, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams eligible to play for Spain because obviously that is their birthplace. But outside of that, if you're talking about Yamal, his mom is from Equatorial Guinea and his dad is Moroccan, whereas Nico Williams, similar to Eddie and Nketiah, both of his parents Ghanaian. So unlike his brother does play for Ghana and he opted to play for his country of birth. And that takes me down to another topic of conversation that I wanted to discuss with you guys in regards to the whole idea of wild thoughts not really being a thing in football no more. If you go a step further outside of the birthplace, because we already know that Eddie Nketiah, based off birthplace, Eddie Nketiah is not eligible to represent Jamaica. But as I said, until I hear from the man himself, I am not telling you that he is eligible to represent Jamaica. But I am going to explore the faintest of possibility until I am told otherwise. You want to rock with me? Go ahead and rock with me. I will warn you guys though that it is the hope that kills. It isn't far-fetched, guys, to see players represent nations due to the outside of the obvious, I should say. So two of the most obvious players that I can think of who either have represented a country before or could have represented another country due to their what do you want to call it, parental grandparents. Two players who are known to you guys. Let's see if I can bring this one up. Is that it? I'll go ahead and bring this one up on the shared screen there for you all. Two players who are pretty familiar to you guys are Mr. Marcus Rashford. I mean, no disrespect to St. Kitts and Nevis. He was never going to represent those guys for obvious reasons, but he could have. And that is in relation to the parental grandparents ties. Another player that could have stuck to his gun, but he chose to go ahead and play for England is another player that's familiar to you guys is Mr. Declan Rice. He could have played for Ireland, as it says there, could have played for Ireland. He kind of backstep a bit and he decided to play for England instead. Marcus Rashford, for those of you who didn't pick up on that, if he wanted to, I don't think he would have. I can't speak for Marcus Rashford. I will say this though, that we have seen him show love to his grandparents country there in St. Kitts. This was probably some 4 years ago. Let me go ahead and show you his previous posts there where he was showing some love to St. Kitts. Clearly that's someone back home in his grandparents country there with a signed Marcus Rashford jersey. So saying that to say, it takes me back to Eddie Nketiah. So unless Eddie Nketiah comes out and says, hey, look, no, that is just a false rumor. For those of you who love your glimmer of hope, there might be a glimmer of hope there because we already know, as I've said, Jamaica and Ghana, there is, without a shadow of doubt, there is solid proof of relationship there dating back from our national dish, subsequently slavery, I should say the other way around, slavery, our national dish, and also Nanny the Maroon, our only national female hero. So there is some evidence there to say that there might be a possibility. Can I answer the possibility? Can I give you guys an answer? No, because I do not know Eddie Nketiah on a personal level. But for all the people who are just kind of like brushing it to the side and saying there's no chance, I don't like that phrase of there's no chance of him being eligible to represent Jamaica, because really and truly you don't know. Now, in terms of the evidence, if I'm keeping this like strictly about football, the evidence says that even if his parental grandparents have a 1% chance of being Jamaican, I don't know, with slavery in mind, I don't know if his grandparents were born in Jamaica, but let's say that he was they were born in Jamaica, either on both sides or on maybe his father's side or his mom's side. We would still have the tough task of fighting off England, because it's quite clear and obvious. You don't need VAR to tell you this one. Let me go ahead and switch it for you guys again. Let's go ahead and switch that screen if I can find it, that is. I don't think you guys need VAR to tell you this one. It's quite clear and obvious there, guys, that his heart is set on England. And why not? It's his country of birth. I think I've lost my my tab, guys. Sorry about that, but I can't find the tab that I wanted to share with you guys. I was going to go back to the headline where he spoke about you know, extra special moment, something of that link, of that ilk, paraphrasing what he said when he made his call up. When he received his senior men's call up to the Three Lions, we saw his reaction. We've already seen that the young man has pretty much, I think, without wanting to speak for Eddie and Nketiah, has already closed the doors on the possibility of him playing for the Black Stars. And he did so by saying no to a World Cup. I mean, the last time the Jamaica men's senior national team went to a World Cup was back in 1998. So and we have yet to qualify for one since then on the men's side of things. So if he's going to say no to Ghana for a World Cup, then who are we to get our hopes up if he is eligible to play for Jamaica? There's no evidence out there pertaining to his grandparents' ties and where they were born and so on. So that one again, if you're the one that likes to toy with hope, I will say this again: hope does kill. But if you want to toy with a little bit of hope, then there is your hope. Have fun with it. But saying that to say, again, echoing what I've already said, Jamaica and Ghana, we do have a fruitful relationship from slavery days to the present. It's not far-fetched to think that a Ghanaian and a Jamaican might be related. So for the people out there who are miserable and uneducated, it's not far-fetched at all to think that someone who has Ghanaian parents might not have Jamaican roots and vice versa. You'll be surprised. I'm pretty sure I've seen where the Reggae Girlz is concerned. One of our players is actually called Mensa. I think it's the a young goalkeeper for the Reggae Girlz. Her name is Mensa, and from what I know, Mensa is a Ghanaian name. So all of this, he's not eligible to play for us because his parents are Ghanaian. Unless you know, it's probably best to not completely dismiss that. And I'm sure with Lambakisa, if I'm not mistaken, I think his background is also Congolese, if I'm not mistaken. So there is that direct tie there already in our men's and women's team, tracing back to Africa, where we've had players whose parents are either from their country of birth or from obviously Jamaica, which makes them eligible. And then you can look somewhere down the line for their parental grandparents' roots. It has happened before, guys. It's not far-fetched. Like I said, judging off the name alone, Mensa, where the Reggae Girlz is concerned, I think the evidence is there that we already have a player of some form of Ghanaian roots playing for us. So let me go ahead and see what you guys are saying there in the comment section. I hope you've actually used your manners and touched the like button. Lee, I am going to go ahead. I should say I'm going to get round to doing your live stream because you've actually asked me to do a live stream on Cuba. I'm not going to lie, Lee. It's a pain. Researching Cuba is an absolute pain, but I will have to get round to completing that research there because I would like to sit here and do a live watch along of Jamaica versus Cuba for you all. He can represent would be, I don't see it fair for us to even. Jay Shy 876, good day to you, sir. Jay says he can represent England and Ghana. Ghana would be his second option. I don't see it fair for us to even try to get us to tongue-tied. Let's try that again. I don't see it fair for us to even try to get to represent us. No disrespect, but it's Jamaica's national team, not a club team. I hear what you're saying, Jay. I think I've already touched on some of what you're alluding to, and I definitely don't see the disrespect in your comments. I think the purpose of tonight's live stream, guys, is to more so for me, it's about educating people because I think there's a lot of people out there who don't know about the historical ties and the relationship between Ghana and Jamaica. So again, unless the young man comes out himself and say, I am not eligible to represent Jamaica, or my parental grandparents weren't born in Jamaica, it's not too foolish to say no chance. There might be a chance there based on history, based on slavery, and again, based on our close ties to Ghana. Owen, how are you, sir? How you doing? The guys in the comments section, thank you for dropping your comments. So those of you who are silently watching, I'm not really sure why that is. I hope tonight's live stream was a little bit more refreshing. It is outside of the norm, but I was requested requested to do this live stream by a few of my subscribers, and I jumped on it because without my subscribers, I am pretty much nothing. You guys are the one that keep the channel growing. So I figured, okay, they want me to talk about Eddie Nketiah and the possibility of him representing Jamaica, and I've gone ahead and done just that. Lee, I don't think you're tuning in at present, so you probably watch this one back on replay. And as I said, I will be getting round to doing my live stream for you. I don't think I have anything else left to say, guys. I think that's me done. Unless you guys have something to say. Don't know what just happened, guys, but my I just got booted out of my own studio. Don't ask me how or why, but I got booted out of my own studio. So tonight's live stream, not like the usual live stream, a little bit more light-hearted, informative for those of you who aren't aware of the close ties between Jamaica and Ghana. So I do hope that you found it invaluable or as useful as it can be. And I think that is me done for tonight's live stream there, guys. Let's see if I could share anything else with you all before I go pertaining to the Reggae Boyz. We have our game coming up against Cuba. That one there is set for Friday, the 6th of September. And it will be hosted at the National Stadium. Let's go ahead and see. Shall we go ahead over onto JFF's Twitter account? Why not? Let's do a shared screen with you guys. Let's go over to JFF's Twitter account, guys. And you guys haven't answered the question I asked. What does Jamal Nicholson, Eddie Nketiah, and Ivan Toney have in common? I actually have a Boza video that I'm working on. Because I've noticed something about Mr. Jamal Nicholson, and I would like to discuss it with you all. All right, so this one was put out, this post here was put out by the Jamaica Football Federation. It says Goalkeepers Union. So with that, the lads are firmly in camp. And it is just maybe 4 photos in total of our goalkeepers there. And I'm assuming it's the goalkeeper coaches as well. And they are at the National Stadium, guys. If I close off and go down a little bit, you can see there, this one says, first training session back. And the energy is fire. The wait is over. And we're ready to bring the heat on the field. There you have a couple more snaps of the lads in training. And I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of this one already, but in case you've been occupied with work, Leon Bailey has since been replaced by Sheffield Wednesday's Jamal Lowe, and that's due to an injury. Leon Bailey picked up a reported hamstring injury over the weekend in his game against Leicester City, Bobby Reed's Leicester City, that is. And the head coaches of the Reggae Boyz, Steve McLaren, recaps day one of training ahead of the CONCACAF Nations League game against Cuba on Friday at the National Stadium. So that's the gaffer with his backroom staff. There is a video there that takes you to YouTube. I'm mindful of copyright, so I'm not going to click on it, but I would say head over to the Jamaica Football Federation YouTube channel. I'm not sure what this video is. Maybe it's just a video of training. I'm assuming because they are in training. So if you guys want to head over to the Jamaica Football Federation's YouTube channel, why not? And catch up on the latest with regards to the men's senior team. I think I've come to an end, guys. I don't want to waffle on any further. So let me know how you guys are doing down in the comment section before I sign off. I'm going to be signing off in the next 2 minutes or so. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Please do go ahead and hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And before I forget, if you are out and about, I hope that you make it home safe and make it home safe and sound, safe and unharmed, because walking through your door is a underrated blessing. I've just gone over to my YouTube channel and something has popped up with the Jamaica Football Federation. There's an interview there with the head coach, Mr. Steve McLaren. Is less than 2 minutes. I would play it, but I am wary of breaching copyright violation. So I would more so advise you guys to go and check that one out over on the JFF's YouTube channel. Search JFF Live and you'll be able to listen to that interview there. As I said, it is relatively short. It's a sit-down piece from what I can see, and perhaps the gaffer is speaking to the press officer, Mr. Simon Preston. I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't listened to it myself, but just by looking from a distance, it seems like that's what that one is all about. All right, guys, I've been chatting with you guys for the best part of 40 minutes. And let's go over and see something before I close off. See something. All right, that's looking good. All right, guys. That's me done. I don't know, the last back-to-back live stream comment section has been really quiet. Why is that? Am I doing something wrong, or am I just getting new viewers who aren't used to the channel and therefore don't want to say anything? I don't know. Either way, thank you for helping me to boost the views on the channel. The more people that watch the videos, the more likes that you guys give the videos, the more thumbs up, the better it is for the growth and visibility of my platform. So thank you for your support. I'm going to close off because I'm just speaking to a screen and it is quite awkward and weird because you guys aren't speaking back at me. So I am going to be closing off on the live stream. They will believe he has a chance of Tony left Europe. I think it's Asian. All right, guys. That's me. I am going to be closing off. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. It's unfortunate, but I got a new working and listening box cover. I like that. Keep it up. I hope work is treating you well. Oh, look, they're all coming in now. Mr. Everton, how are you, sir? Good night. Man of God, I have not seen you in a minute. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. You guys are coming in as I'm about to close off on my live stream, but it is short. It's less than an hour, so it is digestible if you don't mind me saying so. So you can always go back and watch this one on replay. The purpose of tonight's live stream there, guys, is, as I said, it's about like educating people. I wasn't really a fan of the complete dismissive attitude pertaining to Eddie and Nketiah potentially being able to represent Jamaica. Thankfully, big up my subscribers that put this one on the table for me. They wanted me to discuss it, and I've discussed it. I've had that chatted with you guys. We've had a discussion, or I should say, I've had a discussion with you guys. You guys have been relatively quiet down there in the comment section, but I hope it makes sense to you all. Right? You're just getting off work. I'm not sure if that means you're at home or if it means you're commuting home. But if you are commuting home, I hope that you make it home safe and sound. Mr. McGregor, he says, love the content and just a good listener. Thank you, sir. I hope you're well. Just reach home, big up Centamus, big ups. Hey, I love that comment. Right back at you. Definitely big up Centamus. I'm gonna say that is the best parish in Jamaica. If you want to come and argue with me, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. Colin Clark, we are listening. I like that, but I also like I like when you guys get friendly in the comment section, Mr. Clark, because if not, I feel like I'm just talking to myself. And then I sometimes lose train of thought. So I like when you guys speak with me, because remember, guys, I use this as my way of decompressing. So this is my therapy. So I like when I can have someone that I'm talking with, you know, rather than just talking directly at you all. Bless up. All right, guys. That's that. We're gonna cut it off there to make it fair for the rest of these subscribers who want to tune into the rest of the show. And they're probably just getting off work. I'm gonna make it fair, nice and digestible for those guys. All right. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I will be back tomorrow. You're in London. A bit like myself, I'm in London as well, but St. Thomas is my birthplace, hence it being my favorite parish in Jamaica. So we have something in common there, Mr. Everton. Right, guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I've said that a million times. I mean it now. I'm going to close off. If you're new to the channel, do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Stop being a miserable git and hit the like button. You know how it goes. Until next time. Let's see. Yes. Until next time, guys. Take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.